I just took out a loan for basic needs and food. Like, needs slash food. I have never in my life had to take out a loan for the things that my home needs. I had to make the decision of gas or food, or somehow budget it and split that and get a little bit of gas and get a little bit of food until I get paid again. I said, there's no way. I cannot do this. I need to have a little bit more for gas, and I need to have enough food. So Affirm has, its thing with Sam's Club. I was like, fuck it. Let's just take out a loan for our basic needs. I feel like this is not okay.
Today's children will never know the feeling of being rich with $1. No, seriously, $1. See, back in the day, a single dollar could get you 100 pieces of candy. Yeah, penny candy, real candy, not that gluten-free, air-fried nonsense that they sell now. A candy bar, 25 cents. Soda, 50 cents. A whole bag of chips that actually had air and chips in it, 50 cents. We didn't need $20 for a snack. All we needed, baby, was 4 quarters and a dream. And don't get me started on the ice cream truck, because it didn't just sell ice cream. It sold hot dogs, pickles with peppermint in them, nachos, everything. That truck was DoorDash on wheels before DoorDash was even a thing. Now, kids need a credit score just to buy a bomb pop. Let's be real, childhoods ain't the same. Inflation didn't just hit our wallet, it also hit our memory.
The American dream is debt. All of the aspects of the typical American dream is literally debt. Going to that incredible university, the private out-of-state university or the Ivy League university, you have 6 figures of debt. Driving that nice car, you have a 4-figure car note. Having a mortgage, you're locked into a 30-year loan. If you want affordable health insurance or a 401k, you need to work in that 9 to 5. If you don't want to be screwed by the tax people, you need to get married and have kids. The American dream is to be in debt and to have so many dependents that you have no choice but to work and work and work until you literally can't work anymore and have no choice but to retire. That is the American dream. And we're also taught socially to subconsciously look down on people who choose alternative paths. People who are more free than the average person, people who choose not to have children, who choose not to get married, who choose not to work in corporate, people who choose to go to community college or trade school instead of getting, like up to 6 figures of debt at a university. People who choose to drive beaters or to buy used cars instead of brand new cars off the lot. Those people are looked down upon because that is not in line with the American dream, which is to get as much debt as you can so that you don't have a choice but to work. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, the American dream is literally just you getting into debt. So
Americans are taking out loans to be able to buy groceries every month. And 41% of those people are unable to pay their loan payments on time. I agree with Bernie Sanders. We have had an enormous problem with wage theft in our country for, 60, 70 years. And now it's finally going to come back and bite corporate America in the ass because people do not have enough money to buy bullshit anymore. Between the tariffs and the enormous number of jobs that have been lost in the last 100 days, we are in for a dark time economically. And people didn't have the savings. They didn't have the savings to deal with this. I know we're told over and over again, you're supposed to have 6 months worth of bills saved in a savings account. Who the fuck has that? I wish I did. I don't. Most Americans cannot cover a $1,000 surprise emergency right now. So when you take people that are already on the brink of cracking financially and you add an additional financial burden to them, what is going to happen? And at the end of the day, this is 100% the fault of corporate greed. This was all preventable.
Trump just telling NBC News that it's okay if America enters a short recession thanks to his trade war.
Are you comfortable with the country potentially dipping into a recession for a period of time if you are able to achieve your long-term goals?
Well, you say some people on Wall Street say, well, I like to tell you something else. Some people on Wall Street say that we're going to have the greatest economy in history.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
This. Look, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
Of course, Trump has promised an economic boom on day one. As for a windfall from those tariffs, if that's what he's referring to, that's not something people on Wall Street have thought about, at least in terms of a windfall.
Aaron, one word I heard there from the president, it's something we've been hearing really all week, a transition. We're in a transition period. The economy is going to be in a transition period. That was not a word that was used when Donald Trump was running for office. There was no mention of a transition period through his tariff policies. Essentially, hold on.
We got new numbers today, better than expected job numbers.
Much better.
At the same time, the economy shrank in the first quarter. You've been arguing all week that this is President Biden's economy. Is this now your economy, sir?
Well, I think certain aspects of it are. Costs are. I was able to get down the costs, but even that, it takes a while to get them down, but we got them down good. We lost $5 to $6 billion a day with Biden. $5 to $6 billion. And I've got that down to a great number right now in a record time. You know, we're talking about 100 days. But just think of what that is. $5 billion a day we're losing on trade. And we were very tough with China, as you know. We put 145% tariff on. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. And we've essentially cut off trade relationships by putting that much of a tariff on. And that's okay. We've gone cold turkey. That means that we're not losing. You know, we lost $1 trillion to China. $1 trillion. That means we're not losing $1 trillion when we go cold turkey because we're not doing business with them right now. And they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal very badly. We'll see how that all turns out, but it's got to be a fair deal.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now. And I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything. From his auto pen, which I'm sure he knew nothing about some of the things he was supposedly signing.
But, sir, you acknowledge when you announced your tariffs, for example, the stock market dropped. It's been volatile. It has since gone up.
It is,
Do you take responsibility for that? Yeah. Do you take responsibility when it drops?
Ultimately, I take responsibility for everything, but I've only just been here for a little more than 3 months. But the stock market, look at what's happened in the last short period of time. Didn't it have 9 or 10 days in a row or 11 days where it's gone up? And the tariffs have just started kicking in. And we're doing really well. Psychologically, I mean, the fake news was giving me such press on the tariffs. The tariffs are going to make us rich. We're going to be a very rich country.
The cost to feed families is so high that more Americans are taking out short-term loans just to buy their groceries. They're eating now and paying later, but many are then missing payments on that very bill. Xavier Walton is here with us. Xavier, I'm trying to wrap my head around this one. You know, people get to the checkout line, they skip the coupons, they skip the credit card, and they go right to pay later. How does this work?
Hey, Marky, good morning. I guess coupons are just a thing of the past. Honestly, it was a bit shocking to me, too. And then I started looking at the data from LendingTree and their survey. A little less shocking, still a little surprising, though. But let's get into the data. Let's talk about who is actually using this buy now, pay later loan or this option to actually buy groceries. When you stop and think about it, I mean, we're talking about American consumers ages 18 to 79, so everyone's sort of feeling that financial pinch, if you will. About 50% of people who participated in this survey said they use buy now, pay later, or BNPL services with financing companies. Within half of those surveyed, 25% said they were using buy now, pay later loans to buy groceries, which is actually up about 11% from last year. But who exactly is using these installment payments, right? Well, here it is. The survey showed that men more likely than women, and then the younger you are, the more likely you are to use this borrow now, pay back later sort of scheme, so to speak. 64% of Gen Zers say they have used one. Looking at older Americans here, only 29% of baby boomers ages 61 to 79 say that they have used the buy now, pay later options. So that gives you an idea of a little bit of a gender gap there. Economic experts say that these sort of figures are proof some consumers are having trouble affording essentials all the way down to groceries. LendingTree's chief consumer finance analyst says, people are looking for ways to extend their budget and cash flow. And that inflation, high interest rates are still putting them in a tough spot, not to mention there's a lot of uncertainty around tariffs and other sort of economic issues. One thing to really be aware of, the downside for consumers, you can see higher fees if they pay late. And Marky, if they start stacking up too many of these buy now, pay later loans, that's why economic experts or finance experts will say you got to proceed with caution, be careful, use it if you really have to.
The fact that reports are coming out about people using like buy now, pay later for their groceries, and they're taking out loans to pay for like their home goods, like their groceries, their essentials. And I said, dang. You know, the reason why I said dang, I said, well, it's not nothing new because there are people who do it, but I guess it's revved up. Like I've seen people kind of make little jokes online like that they DoorDashed with Afterpay, and I was like, well, you get four interest free payments. Like, why not? You know, who cares? You're still paying for it. Now, obviously, most people would pay for those things outright. And sometimes they don't even let you do for those type of payments unless it's like over $30 or something like that. And for people to be buying now and paying later, making payments for their groceries is alarming. And I see why it's hitting the news because I was like, at first I was like, that's not nothing new. People have done that, but it was probably a select few people. Now I guess they're seeing the numbers grow. And I said, that's so sad. It's so sad only because it should be affordable. It should just be affordable. And I was thinking the other day about something, and I think it was about like a discount that they give when you do something. And like it had to do with like, I don't know what it was, whatever good it was. I said, this is probably the price that it should be or that they think it's really worth because they're giving a discount for it, but they don't make this the price all the time. So whenever you have a coupon or whenever it's on sale, that is the price that they are willing to sell it to you for at a discount. Like they'll still profit. Like I don't ever put things on sale usually unless I know I'm still going to be profiting. And I'm speaking from a business owner. Like, I may profit less than I usually do. And it's still a deal for you because you're paying less than what I usually would charge. But I'm usually making money still. You know what I'm saying? Like, if maybe I would get a profit of $10 on this item, but now I'm going to get a profit of $5 on this item. It's no different for other people. You know, other businesses. When things go on sale, when things are, you know, hey, you can get $25 off. You can get $5 off when you spend $25. Like they know what they're doing. They're making your order value higher, so you spend more in order to get that incentive. I think it was about like free shipping I was thinking about too. Like I was like, everybody pays for shipping. Like there are probably very few times where the owner is like, you know what, I'm going to really take on the cost of the shipping. Very few times. They are probably just cutting down on their profit margins, but they know that the cost of shipping when you bundle things are going to be cheaper anyway. So maybe they cut down their profit margins by like a few cents, you know what I'm saying? Like a few dollars. But they're not like losing their mind because they gave you free shipping. To you, it's a deal, and it is a deal for you. Excuse me, but you just spent more money than you really probably wanted to. Just so you can get free shipping. And that's why I was like, I made a video and I tried to put it on my other page, so I deleted it, but it seemed like it never saved to my phone, so I couldn't even re-upload it. And so it's just marketing. It's psychology. People fall for it. Sometimes the item is just way cheaper to get with shipping than it is for you to spend $20 more just to get free shipping, you know, and people make that decision every time. And I think consumers have to just be smarter. And I'm not blaming consumers for the fact that we have been tricked into, like, our minds play that trick, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just psychology. And free looks better than, man, I gotta pay $7 for shipping. But it's the same cost, you know. Anyway, I just feel like we just have to be smarter consumers. Even from a business standpoint, I know that I have to be a smart consumer, because I know that I'm like, you know what, I really need this thing right away, so I'm gonna get the 2-day shipping thing and buy it on this place. And I could have waited. Well, honestly, I can't even use that as an example, because usually whatever I buy online is cheaper than the store. But sometimes you need stuff right away, and so you buy it in the store, and it's like, man, I could have saved $5-10 had I just, kind of not been rushing. And it's just about convenience. We all want convenience, and so I urge other business owners to try to make things as convenient as possible. Obviously, you want to be fair, and obviously you want people to spend as much money as they can with your company, because you a business and you got to feed your family too. And I think sometimes people would look at business owners as people who, when they break it down, they don't see us as people who have to earn a living too, because they think about the Bezos and stuff like that. And it's like, small business owners usually aren't millionaires. You know what I'm saying? They're literally making sometimes lower than $50,000 a year. I know I don't make $50,000 a year. I want to make at least that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a goal for me, but I'm doing the best I can. You know what I'm saying? My passions are so fiery for me. It keeps me from just kind of going to a job. Even though I do hustle with DoorDash, a side hustle with them, like, it's kind of hard for me to just be like, you know what, let me go ahead and try to do all these interviews. Let me go ahead and try to find a job somewhere that's got stable income, where I know my schedule, or I get paid every other week or something like that. It's hard for me to take a chance on those things, because 1, I think it'll take a long time. 2, I don't think I'll be happy. 3, I just feel like I kind of have a little bit, I want to use my time in a different way. But it's also tough to kind of sit back and see, your finances dwindle sometimes, or it takes a long time for you to make the money you need. Like, it may take more hours for you to get the money, but at the end of the day, we all doing the best we can. That's the truth. And I hope that we can, I really want to just look into how things were done. That's why I said with my other video about the Gilded Age era, before people started moving to the bigger cities, people were literally planting their own food. People were doing local trading and stuff like that. You didn't have a Walmart in every few miles. You had your local grocers, and they helped you be fed, right? Or you had your own garden and your own food, and maybe you and your neighbors you traded like that kind of food for that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we were more independent before we started like doing things in mass. And we we have to have that independent mindset again, because our grocers can let us down. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that our local groceries, we have a local grocery store right down the street. And they are far more expensive, in my opinion, than me going to Walmart and getting food. Like, their canned goods are a few cents more, or they're like just the staple items that you get. Like, it's like, why is this $1 more? Sometimes it's like ugh, but it's convenient too, because it's a full grocery store. It's not like it's not super elaborate, but you can literally pick up what you need. And even Dollar Generals, I like Dollar Generals because they're not that expensive, but they're more expensive than, like, let's say a Walmart. Or like I can't even compare it to Target, because I don't really know. Target's just more expensive anyway, even more than Walmart. But they're not always more expensive, right? Than Dollar Generals. The Dollar General bumps up their price because of the convenience of the smaller store. But we finally upgraded our local Dollar General that's right next door to have the refrigeration on large scale with freezers and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that's great. Like, I can go here to get that stuff, but you're going to pay $1 more or 50 cents more than you would at Walmart. And so the deals are kind of sparse, but I can literally walk to this Dollar General. And there's another one not even a mile away down the corner. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we just have to we got to start back doing things the way we used to. We need coupons. We need staple items. We need to share our food. We got this.
My first job out of college, I made $30,000 a year. I knew it wasn't a lot, but I was really happy and it was a salary and I was able to live on it. I paid rent. I had one roommate. We lived in a 2-bedroom and I got by. I'm very transparent about salary, so I make almost $140,000 a year now, and I can't imagine making less. I don't live fancy. I live very simply. I do not have kids. I have 2 pets and I have enough to live my life, and just about enough. And before you come for me, I live in a very, very high cost of living area. And I'm not struggling by any means. I have enough to pay my bills, and I have enough to save, and I have enough to have fun. And for some people that might be like, oh, well, what are you complaining about? Oh my God, that is so much money. I can't imagine having that amount of money. I know where you're coming from. Just 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine having this amount of money. But just 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine how much a grocery trip would cost. Today, it's literally, like, I don't even think about it because it's like unbelievable and it's really hard to think about it. And if I think about it, it's just too stressful. I know there are still 30,000 a year jobs. I know that's still a thing. And I do not know how people live in my state on a salary like that. And I'm not being like the poor's. It's just like, that was me. That was me like a very short time ago. It wasn't even that long ago. And yeah, we're not in a good place, you guys. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that America is really, really like a third world country for a lot of people and in a lot of places. Like, truly, you guys. Like, and I come from a so-called third world nation, and we have free healthcare and excellent standard of healthcare as well. So yeah, I've grown really disillusioned with this whole place.
People do not have enough money at this point for groceries. We're not even talking about the future. We're talking about today. And then the ports are empty. Like, nobody's bringing food over here. Like, we don't grow nothing here, matter of fact. Like, coffee? Oh. What am I going to do? The magnitude of not being able to purchase groceries because people are having to get loans for it at this point in the game. We're only 101 days in, or maybe 102 days in. Y'all, this is The Handmaid's Tale all over again. I don't know if y'all ever seen that, read the part where the girl went to Canada to go get her groceries, so she was like, okay, this ain't a scare tactic. This is real. Don't say I'm fear mongering, because I'm not. People ain't got no money. You're supposed to have at least 6 months of savings in your account right now for a rainy day or something bad. People didn't even have $2, let alone 6 months, because there have been so many jobs taken away. There has been so much done, and everything has escalated in price that people are having to get loans for groceries.
A survey of 2,000 customers between the ages of 18 and 79 found that half of them reported using a credit card to help them cover the cost of food. 25% of those surveyed say they use pay now later or pay later loans to buy their groceries. Gen Z is struggling financially as well, and it's stressing them out. Researchers from Harvard find that over 50% of Gen Zers are actually struggling to stay afloat financially. Financial insecurity is most severe in that generation for women and Latinos and those without a college degree.
If anyone supports Donald Trump at this point, yeah, you're a cult member. Because at the end of the day, your livelihood should matter first than a billionaire livelihood. Donald Trump is on the verge of ending America. There's no ship coming in at the port. There's no negotiation with China. China don't give a shit. You remember Mao Zedong when he starved 40 million people? Yeah, they can do that again. China don't care if the economy collapses, people die. You know what they care about? Their image and their strength. It's not a democracy. It's a dictatorship that gives a shit about their citizens. You cannot win a battle with someone that cares less about their own country. But we care about the United States. That's why Donald Trump should be removed now, before he kills or destroys this country forever.
So I'm in Dollar General, or Dollar Tree rather. The shelves are bare. You think that these tariffs and the stuff that we get from China It's not coming because the shelves are bare. I have never seen it this empty. This is crazy. It's almost like pandemic level. There's nothing in here.
1/3 of Americans, 32% to be exact, say that they are spending more than 60% of their monthly income on essential expenses. And this is stuff like bills, rent, and groceries. Because of this, 53% of Americans find themselves in another unique predicament, saying that they earn too much money to qualify for government assistance, like food stamps or welfare, but don't have enough to afford basic necessities for themselves.
Every time I go grocery shopping, I get back in my car and I literally sit in silence, because moment of silence for my bank account. I love living in America.
How can a country, $35 trillion in debt, have the audacity to give me a credit score? Now, what the fuck y'all playing with? Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me, man. You giving me a credit score when you owe every fucking body? No, bro. No, bro. No, fuck that. No, you disrespecting me now. No, fuck.
It's so crazy coming on here every time there's some sort of economic hardship and people like list out their expenses for the month that they're going to cut out to save money, and they're giving it to you like, here's what you can also cut out because you also buy all these things too. And it's like the most unnecessary shit you've ever heard of in your entire life. It's like Pilates classes that you go to multiple times a week, and an exclusive gym with a spa and a restaurant and a personal chef, and oh, I'm going to stop shopping at Whole Foods and I'm going to go to Aldi, and I'm not going to get my facials every 2 weeks, and I'm going to stop getting my highlights done every 4 weeks, and I'm no longer going to have subscriptions to everything. Who needs Max and Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN and Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube and all this stuff? I'm just going to keep half and get rid of the other half. And I'm not going to go to TJ Maxx every single day, and I'm not going to spend $300 every time I go into a store, and I'm going to cut out going to the club every single weekend and ordering DoorDash every single week, and I Uber everywhere, even though I live in a big city and there's public transportation. So here's my list of things that I will be cutting out when I no longer have money due to the economy. My nails, I get them done once a month. That's my one like self-care thing that I do. The second thing is books. I will no longer be buying books. I've been on a book kick the past 2 years. That's going to stop. The 3-ish times a month I get DoorDash, that's not going to happen anymore. I'll have to start cutting out convenience snacks. So anything prepackaged, anything that comes pre-prepared. I'll be cutting out any sort of fruit that is expensive. So strawberries, blueberries, tangerines. I'll probably stop buying red meat. So that includes, I don't get steak a lot, but every once in a while I would get one. Can't do that anymore. Ground beef. I'll be getting ground chicken. Expensive vegetables, like I love cauliflower and asparagus. I probably won't be buying that. I get myself 1 coffee a week from Dunkin'. Gotta stop doing that. If I do have to buy clothes, I do go thrifting, but I might have to cut that out altogether. I've been buying decor for my gallery wall up here by thrifting. Probably gonna have to stop doing that. Luckily, it's no longer cold in Chicago, so I don't have to have my heat on as much, because otherwise I was gonna have to cut that back.
She's saying how they're running out of certain things. Milk, I believe she said cucumbers. She said by noon these things are gone. Bell peppers, you know, that they're not getting in. Their trucks are coming in half full. Just things, that's just enough for me. And she's like, even people that work at the store with her, and she's like, you guys better be stocking up. And they're like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Or they just don't want to know. I mean, and they're there working, seeing the same thing she's seeing. And it was just interesting to me, so I'm sharing that with you guys. I mean, it's one thing that, you know, the people, I don't want to say they, because I can't think of the name right now, but the people on that give the news and all that are saying this, that, you know, we've lost our allies as ships. The people at the shipyard are saying ships are coming in like 38% less shipment, and the tariffs kick in this week, and the things that are going to happen. Is one thing to hear them say that, but then I'm giving you information from someone who is in the industry, who is in the grocery store at least 5 days a week. And their shipments are coming in shorter, and they're running out of things during the day. So go stock up, get you some non-perishables. I went to Costco, I got a lot of tuna. I got the 25-pound bag of beans. That's what was suggested when I was reading on things to get, and a 25-pound bag of dry rice. And it's really smaller than a bag of dog food. I got some oatmeal, a big bag of the Kirkland brand oatmeal. These are non-perishable items. I did get eggs and things like that too, but if something goes down and there's nothing on the shelf, you know, we know how to eat that every day, even if we don't want to. But I'm just trying to tell you guys, I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to give you guys the information. So please listen and go to the store tomorrow.